Reese and Jeff Shopper. All right.
Okay, we had a very productive open week. We think we got a lot accomplished. We're able to tweak some things offensively, defensively, and special teams, things that we think that will help us the rest of the way. Got some work with some young guys that we think that will continue to prosper and continue to come along and help us as we go. So now we're anxious to get into game week preparation for Wake Forest, and excited to be playing them here at home.
Coach, how did you handle the week as far as days off and then what you guys did in practice during the week?
Well, we gave, we came back and put the game to bed on that Sunday, and then the guys had their Monday off, and then we practiced Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we gave them Friday and Saturday off, and then we came back and had a real practice yesterday. So, as far as what we, Tuesday and Wednesday, Tuesday and Wednesday were all about us. Everything, we didn't even start looking at Wake Forest. Thursday we started introducing some of the base things against Wake Forest, but again, the majority of it was really based on us. And then Sunday we started implementing the game plan.
I think I was looking this up earlier today. It looks like you guys are scoring at a much more efficient pace this year than you were last year. I'm curious as to, after you having a bye week, a chance to kind of review everything, what's been the key there for being more efficient offense this year?
Well, we're doing a nice job on third downs. I think we're somewhere around 50% on third down, so we're moving the chains. And when you do that, you give yourself a chance. You stay on the field. I know that our numbers of plays that that we're playing offensively is way down, but some of that's the nature of the beast of some of the games we've been in when we were running the clock from the third quarter on. After a series or two in the third quarter, so you're not going to have as many plays. And again, that's never been something that we really concerned ourselves with, is the number of plays. As long as our tempo is good when we want it to be, we're in good shape there. I think we've got experience on offense. I think that's helped. I think these guys understand what's expected, and they know what has to be done, and they've done a good job of doing it.
You believe that you fixed anything on the special teams?
I hope so. I hope we fix things on the special teams. I hope we fix things offensively, and I hope we fix things defensively. Because there were all things, in all three phases that I said last week that needed to be adjusted and needed to be fixed. So, time will tell, but we think we were able to address some of those issues, and hopefully we were able to make some needed changes there.
How many things are way down this year compared to last year? What do you attribute the improvement to?
Well, I would say we're playing smarter. That's one thing. We're playing smarter. Everybody else out there will say, well, we're a much more disciplined team. I think some of it is our guys, where they're a little bit older, a little bit more mature. They understand what needs to be done, and they're making better decisions. So we're still doing things the way we've done them. The same emphasis has been on it since the first year, and having the officials there at practice every day like we do, we've been doing that for the last 2 years. So, I hope it's a combination of all of it that's making us play better, play smarter.
Were there certain points of emphasis when you're dealing with offense and defense and focusing on yourselves to fix, or is it cleaning up little mistakes and just the broad picture?
It's just cleaning up mistakes, making corrections, making sure we don't make those same mistakes, and then adjusting some things. Maybe scheme-wise, we've tinkered with some things to help, in some situations. Maybe in some situations, there's a guy in there that maybe can't do what we've asked him to do, and we have to adjust it.
Has the identity of the team changed from what you thought it would be?
Has it changed?
Yes, sir.
As far as
going into the season, did you say we're going to be a certain team? And at this point now, did you say actually with this type of team?
No, I tell you what, going into the season, you were hopeful that we were going to have the identity that we have right now. I really was. Because, and I attribute it to the leadership that we have on this football team, the chemistry we have on this football team, and the way they handle the locker room. Because all the other things, the tweaking, the offense, defense, special teams, those things can be corrected. you know, it's hard to correct those other things, you know, the locker room, the chemistry, the leadership. So I'm really proud of what those guys have accomplished in that matter. And, you know, that's kind of really identified this football team. And so that's, you know, I think that's a good thing.
How much more mentally tough do you feel like you guys are? You know, you mentioned the locker room stuff and the chemistry. And what's the difference now as opposed to a year ago? Describe it.
Well, you go back to, I mean, this team has the, you know, they had the ability to learn from last year's problems, you know, and so then they were mature enough to do something about those problems. And a lot of that was just the older guys putting it on their backs and carrying the load to make sure that those kind of problems didn't come up again.
How much does that mentality help in the comeback in Atlanta?
Oh, I don't know how to measure that, but I mean, you know, definitely had played a factor in it because, again, it wasn't so much what was happening on the field that you had to, you know, you had to stay in the moment. You had to not panic and not worry about what was going on and just keep playing. And that's hard for it's hard for a team to do. But that said a lot about, you know, this is what I attribute it to. The leadership, the locker room, and the chemistry is the reason we were able to do that.
Last year, the two best wins, Georgia Tech and Duke, were followed up with really bad performances against Miami and State. Is that the next layer for you guys, learning how to handle success and sort of connect those games?
Yeah, I don't. The 15 team hadn't done any of those things, and so I'm really, you know, I try not to associate the two together. I really don't.
But you kind of were just a minute ago, and you were talking about some of those things.
Learning from those things.
Well, is that the same thing? To learn from that? And
oh yeah, every problem and every issue you have in the past, you'd like to learn from them. And so, again, I think because of the leadership, the locker room, the chemistry, the team has matured enough to be able to do those kind of things. And so, yeah, I don't foresee that as a problem.
Following up Ms. Mitchell's question, could you measure it in terms of last year this time, you don't win that game in Georgia Tech? Could you measure it saying, you know, yes or
Well,
no?
we did win that game.
I mean,
Georgia
in that
Tech.
situation,
Oh, I got no way to know that. I don't know. I have no idea. I mean, I don't know how to answer that because I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, in terms of the chemistry and the
Yeah, I've already
guys.
said, we've got better chemistry on this football team. We've got, you know, our leadership is handling that. They're the ones making sure that. And our locker room is good. And they feel really good about where they are and what they are as a team. And I'm not talking about wins and losses. I'm just talking about the locker room. You know, and that's a huge part of it.
How much did the win, I guess, when you have a huge win and then you have a bye week, you're not jumping right into the next opponent. Is that a tricky dynamic to deal with? Because guys have extra long to think about what just happened as opposed to what's ahead?
Well, I think it's more about you're on a roll and now you get out of that routine, you know, and they feel good about where they are. And so one half of it would say, let's go play, you know, let's go play again. And the other half says, man, we got some guys beat up. We need to get healed up. We need to get some young guys some work so that we can, you know, because we're going to need them as we go through the next, 8 weeks.
Do you think, would you have rather than? I mean, you gave both sides of the coin.
I did.
Which one would you have preferred?
The one that we have, because that's the only one that matters.
Coach, the team has the opportunity to go 2-0 for the first time in a while, first time in your tenure here. What do you think that would do to the mentality to sort of get off the 2-0 start, get off to that odd start in conference?
Well, I'm going to go back to the 15 team. You know, they're 1-0, and we want to win one more. You know, we want to win the next one. Again, I'm trying to distance everything from the past and just take the mistakes and learn from them and make sure that this team understands who they are. That it doesn't matter that everybody made a big deal about we hadn't won in Atlanta for 15 years. Well, so what? This team hadn't played in Atlanta until that Saturday. So I really am trying to get away from all of those things. That's why I keep answering those questions the same way, is that because I really want this team to be unique and be different, you know. And so to do that, that's what we've been preaching. So we don't talk about everything that's happened in the past. We really don't. We talk about, you know, where we're going, what we need to do, and how did we get to this point. Right? How did we get to where we're sitting right now at this point? And it didn't just happen. you know, a lot of hard work, sweat, all those things. So let's focus on those things, and let's don't, you know, again, we're trying to focus on the goals and not all the different, you know, all the obstacles that are out there.
You said that hopefully, looking into a season, you would hope that the team has the identity that it has right now at this point in the year. How aware are the guys of the fact that they have the identity that they ought to have? Are they pretty
Yeah,
on board with that?
Very much so. They're aware of it. I mean, they like their, you know, they like where they're at. I mean, and again, I'm not just talking about wins and losses. I'm talking about they like the chemistry of this team. They like the makeup of this team. They, you know, I mean, there's a bond amongst all of them that they're really enjoying. I mean, and that's what makes it special.
Is it a byproduct of having the experience that these guys really do know one another and kind of a unit?
Yeah, I think it's a byproduct of everything that's happened, you know, in the past, and what we're doing, you know, as they mature, you know, what they've learned from it.
Marquise ran against Georgia Tech more than he had all year, but about as often as he did most of the time last year. Was that kind of a conscious choice?
No, not really, not really, but I mean, it was, you know, once we found a weakness and he was able to take advantage of it, it's hard not to do it, you know, when it was there. And so, and then once he got into, you know, once he ran, I mean, he ran hard. I mean, he was trying to score, you know, and so you hate to take that away from him. I mean, and it wasn't that Hood wasn't running hard or anybody else. They were all running hard. So it was, but those, we were getting chunk plays with those things. And so, you know, you're going to tend to call them a few more times to take advantage of it.
Had there been less of an emphasis on Marquise running before that game?
No, not really, not really. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know, I would have to go back and look and see when it was just quarterback runs that we were calling, if it was that many more than it has been. I don't know. Now, there were more chunk plays, you know, so, you know, it looked like, wow, we ran him a lot. Well, he ran for 140, on how many carries? 15 carries. So out of those 15, probably I would say, I'm just guessing here, probably 8 to 9 were called called quarterback runs. And then, you know, quite a few of them are run pass options that he has the ability to do. And that's, you know, that's him taking advantage of his strengths.
As you get ready for Wake Forest, what do you get out of scouting them and seeing them win 3-0 last week?
Well, you know, they're a very resilient football team. I mean, again, they've been in some tough ones. I think what the last 4 games that they've lost by 8 points, I think, at the most. And so they're going to fight you all the way to the end. There's no doubt about it. They're really good on defense. I mean, they're 15th in the country in total defense right now. And so they're going to battle you. Being in a close game for them doesn't scare them, you know. So they don't care if they win 3-0 or if they, whatever it is. I mean, they're going to fight you all the way to the end. So we know it's going to be a dang battle.
What do they do defensively?
Talk about their quarterback seemed like, you know, Hinton has given them a little dimension there that they hadn't had for a while.
Yeah, we don't know which one's going to play, probably. I mean, so we're expecting both of them to play. You know, I don't know why Hinton didn't play against Boston College. I don't know what the dynamics are there, but they're both very good quarterbacks. You know, and Hinton, obviously everybody ought to know about Hinton. I mean, he won a state championship. He's a heck of a player and pretty dynamic. And so you saw that when he entered into the mix with them and what they're able to do offensively.
What makes them so effective defensively?
Well, they to this point, they blitz more than anybody we've played. They blitz quite a bit. They blitz a lot on normal down and distances, which causes problems in the run game, you know, which puts you behind the chains, you know. So, you know, we'll have to work extremely hard to make sure we stay ahead of the chains in everything we do.
Would you say they're the most physical team you've played to this point?
I mean, yeah, I mean, we could say that. You know, I mean, but I haven't. I mean,
You made proclamations
them,
earlier, so
I haven't compared them to that. I would. They are a physical football team. Now, they're really good on defense, and they, you know, part of the problems they create are all the blitzing that they do, because it's not just 1 or 2 blitzes. I mean, they have they've got a wide variety of blitzes that create both from 3 down and 4 down. and then from the bear package that create problems for you.
With the defense, I guess so much has been on fundamentals and teaching and the base. About how much percentage-wise does Coach Chiswick have in of what you guys would like to do defensively? I mean, we're talking 80%?
Yeah, you'd have to ask Gene. I don't know the answer to that because I know with the going into the first game, he told me we got enough in to go through the season. So he felt comfortable with that. Now, he has added things. I mean, and week to week, you're always, your game plan wise, you're doing different things. But the base that everything is built off of is in, and that's all you need for a season, is to know the base and have your base, and then you tweak things as you go according to what an offense is trying to do against you.
Is there any clear leader at the punting position at this point?
As of this point, I don't know, not that I know of. But we will Saturday, we'll put somebody out there.
Maybe not if you never punt, right?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Kevin was telling me we hadn't had one returned on us in the first place. I mean, I think there's only a couple teams in the country that's happened with. And
We're the only team that hadn't had a punt return yet.
Oh, okay, we're the only one. And I think we've only punted 12 times, so I think Baylor's punted fewer than us, and that's about it. So that's a good thing. That means the offense is being pretty efficient.
As a guy who likes a lot of offense and a fast pace, when you see that 3-0 game, what goes through your mind?
I'm glad I wasn't part of it.
Have you ever
been in a lot of locker rooms at different levels? Have you ever seen alcohol in the coach's locker room or in a football facility? Kind of referencing what happened at USC.
I don't know what you're talking about. You have to tell me USC.
So Steve Sarkisian, the head coach of USC, has been suspended indefinitely or indefinite leave.
Okay.
The rumor is there was
Alcohol in the locker room.
alcohol in the locker room, drinking throughout the program. I was wondering if you've ever seen
No, I
that.
haven't seen that.
Okay.
I haven't seen that.
Have you ever been a part of a team that won a game without scoring a touchdown?
I don't believe I have. I don't recall that. I may have blocked that from my memory. Don't get me wrong. I don't. You just want to win. I mean, I promise you, Wake Forest is awful happy to have that dang win. 3-0. I mean, and I promise you, Boston College isn't real happy about not winning it. So, again, it's just scoring one more point than your opponent is all you got to do, and you win. So, no matter what that is, I mean, you guys fight their butts off and they win a game, and you walk away and it's a W. And so, yeah, I don't know that if I have been involved in one of those in my life. I don't know. So,
Under Dave Clawson, they're 2-0 when they in the ACC. 2-1 when they don't score a touchdown. 0-8 when they score a touchdown.
That's an amazing stat. That's an amazing stat. I would doubt Dave's ever been involved in that either, before or so. But hey, they're finding ways to win football games. You got to give them credit. They're finding a way, and I think it starts with where they are defensively. I mean, they're really good on defense. They create a lot of problems for you.
Anybody else? All right.
All right.